Welcome back. I'm Marco Lamano. The issue of abortion rights will no doubt be debated here in Florida, not just in the governor's race this November, but in the Democratic primary in August between Congressman and former Governor Charlie Crist and Florida Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried. I spoke earlier today with candidate Nikki Fried about abortion rights in the state and in America. Here's part one of our interview. What's your position on abortion rights in America and the recent decision on the Supreme Court?
I'm heartbroken. I'm angry. I'm mad. This has been a right to privacy across the entire country for the last 50 years. And what has happened now is that we have made Floridians less safe, Americans less free. And this is something that women across our state and women across the country not only need to march, they need to organize, and most importantly need to vote for pro-choice women up and down the ballot. Because now what this decision's done is it's put it back into the hands of the states. And here in Florida, we have seen that this governor has already enacted a 15-week abortion ban that goes into effect on July 1st that doesn't have an exemption for rape or incest or sex trafficking. And this is a healthcare concern. Can you imagine a mother having to take their 13 or 14-year-old daughter to get an abortion because she has been raped or had incest, and both the mother and the daughter potentially get arrested? That's what we're talking about here in America today. We saw the trigger laws go into effect yesterday, and state after state after state, seeing the fact that women have lost a right that was guaranteed to them. And here in Florida, you have a governor who's already made statements saying, well, now that this has happened, we are celebrating, this is a great day, and we're gonna go further. And so people all across the state, because this is not just a female issue, this is certainly a human rights issue that everybody has to understand that this governor wants to take our state to a direction that over 67% of Floridians do not want. So I'm going to do everything in my power to stand up and to fight back.
What would you do then on the state level as governor if you were elected?
First and foremost, we do have a right to privacy that is in the Florida Constitution. This is going to be something that is going to be a question of Ron DeSantis at this point today. Whether or not he truly is a strict constructionist and is going to support the Florida Constitution that he has taken an oath to. And that's the same oath that I would take, to support the Constitution. And if in fact this Supreme Court, and considering that we have a chief judge who was actually appointed by my opponent while he was a governor of our state, and that chief judge was touted as a celebration to the conservative right when he was appointed. And so as governor, not only would I put the full weight of the governor's office behind a constitutional amendment to enhance that right to privacy, but I would also be looking at what executive orders and powers that I would have to make sure that we're not utilizing finances to go after individuals who participate in safe abortions, and then looking even further of making sure that we're working with the legislature, because look, at the end of the day, when you had to kill a snake, you cut off their head. And that's going to happen when we beat Ron DeSantis and let the legislature go back to being common sense, rational, compassionate. And that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to attack this on all fronts: the Constitution, the weight of the governor's office, and legislative changes.
And that goes right into what I was going to ask you. It's that how long do you think it would take to actually put such a thing on the ballot for voters to either enshrine what was previously given in Roe v. Wade or anything similar?
Yeah, I mean, the next election. I mean, of course, the Republicans have made it more and more difficult time in and time again to get a citizen's petition onto the ballot. But with the weight of the governor's office, and certainly my efforts to fundraise for it, to be working on getting petitions signed, this will be the next election, because I know that there's going to be people all across the state that will wait in line to sign this petition to get it onto the ballot. So it would be the first election that we would have an opportunity to vote for it.
Let's talk a little bit about that right in the state constitution to privacy. For people who don't really know, because it's been there for a while, what is it and what does it provide?
It provides a safety net. That a decision that I would make for myself, a healthcare decision, that's also a right to contraceptives, which could potentially be on the chopping block. The relationship between your doctor it is sacred, and that personal responsibility, including what happens in the bedroom. That means also same-sex marriage, same-sex in general, and those are types of things that should be consistently left in the home. Government intrusion should be kept out of these conversations. And so that's what a right to privacy means. It's my decision, it's my choice, what I do behind closed doors, what I do in consultation with my doctor. And the fact of the matter is that this Republican legislature is going to be testing those boundaries. And it's going to be up to this Florida Supreme Court that has been appointed by Republican Charlie Crist and Republican Ron DeSantis, and potentially, I don't know if Rick Scott still has appointments on there, but that's where we are right now. We have a very conservative Supreme Court in Florida that doesn't mirror what is happening on the ground across the state. And so I'm hoping, but I certainly don't put a lot of faith right now in our judicial system after so much has been going on across the state and across the country to stack those courts.
In part 2 of our interview, I asked Commissioner Fried to respond to the pro-life positions on abortion. That's coming up on the weekend edition at 6:30. Coming up, Leslie London has your full Weather Authority forecast.